Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the Cardiff City Stadium has just gone underway and it's a massive game for the home side. For Aaron Ramsey's Cardiff, they know that they have to win today to give themselves any kind of chance of staying up. They also know they could actually win today and still go down if results go against them. A massive result earlier today with Coventry City, who finished the game with 10 men, beating with Luton, beating Coventry City by a goal to nil. Coventry spent most of that game down to 10 men. Luton finished the game with 10, but they got a very late goal, a crucial goal for the Hatters to give themselves a real fighting chance. But certainly Cardiff will be looking as to what's happening at Hull's game against Derby this afternoon, because if Hull win that, regardless of what Cardiff do, they could find themselves dropping into League One. So it's a real tense affair here this afternoon as Cardiff taking on West Bromwich Albion. Myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and John Hogan taking you through the action. John, we were saying just before kick-off that it's going to be a tense atmosphere because Cardiff, of course, know they have to win, but that may also not be enough to keep them up anyway.
No, it may not. So they've got to keep their eyes peeled. What's going on elsewhere? I mean, really, for the Cardiff players, forget all that. Just go win your game. Simple enough. But it's been difficult all season. So anyway, an opportunity. Cross comes in, and then a shot driven well wide. I think Perry Younger with the shot in the end, wasn't it? But it's a good cross from the young kid, Keane Ashford, there. So not bad at all that from the Blues. A good start. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Preston Plymouth as well. But obviously Hull Derby is massive too. But there's loads of implications, and it's been like that all season. The bottom teams have kept on winning and dragging the middle teams to them, and it's made the division really exciting, I think.
It's been fantastic. Yeah, I mean, look at teams like QPR and Portsmouth, who are well away from relegation trouble now, whereas you go back to the turn of the year and they were pretty much nailed on to go down, weren't they? So things can change. And certainly Stoke have been flirting with it all season. Oxford looked to once they might be dragged into it. They are mathematically still potentially could still get dragged into it, but they do have a little bit of a cushion. West Brom, on the other hand, said goodbye to Tony Mowbray this week. It's former player, now coach and now manager James Morrison taking charge for this game. And it's a shame for West Brom because I think that they did seem to have enough about them to make the top six, but of course it's such a hard division to predict and they've just fallen away.
Yeah, exactly that, and they blame Tony Mowbray for that, and I don't think that's fair. I think the manager he gets his team playing football. What did they expect was going to happen? You know, they'd got they were drawing too many and all that. But sometimes I don't think it's to do with the manager.
No, and I think you only have to look at another team in the Championship this season, Hull City, who missed out on the playoffs by 1 point last season. They got rid of their manager and they're still in relegation trouble now with 2 games left. So things can always say the grass isn't always greener. But we are 3 minutes into this game. It is goalless. There's no goals elsewhere in the Championship. Just to remind you, in the earlier games in the Championship, it did finish Luton 1, Coventry 0, and it also finished QPR 0, Burnley 5. So Burnley getting their shooting boots on now that they are definitely promoted and perhaps just a little bit of pressure off. Just to remind you very quickly, Horvath is in goal for Cardiff. A back four of Ung, Fish, Chambers and O'Dowda. Rinomota and Turnbull are the holding midfielders, with Willock, Robertson and Ashford as the attacking three playing behind Salek. And for West Brom, it is Griffiths in goal with a back four of Furlong, Bartley, Hegem and Styles. It's Price, Diakite and Mowat as the three across the middle, with Fellows, Ahern, Grant and Armstrong as the attacking three. And just as I was saying that, it was West Brom in possession. It's a bit of a trip there on Torbjorn Heggen. Free kick, and it's been taken quickly. West Brom in their all pink change strip this afternoon. Cardiff is always in blue at home. And so it's going to be hard to see exactly from West Brom's point of view, I suppose, under caretaker manager, that perhaps the pressure of the playoff stuff, but they'll still want to put in a good performance today.
Everybody always wants to play well, but I don't know if that actually helps them out or not. There was talk that actually Tony Mowbray had lost the changing room, which I find hard to believe. But then also you think, well, players can fall out with themselves about nothing. Maybe they felt under him they'd not moved on, that they'd lost impetus. But then, it's all right to go blame everybody else when you're not doing well.
No, but sometimes it only takes one or two loud voices in that changing room. If a couple of influential players say they're not keen on the manager, then other players will sort of follow that sort of lead.
I mean, I can understand why one or two thinking he seems like old school. But is it old school really to embrace the philosophy of being comfortable on the ball and passing? The ball's not a hot potato in Tony Mowbray's team. But sometimes if you want the dividends of that, it's over a longer period. he's not somebody I think that you drop in halfway through the season and go on, Tony, go and get a promotion.
Absolutely. And there was that emotional thing as well, of course, with Tony Mowbray's health as well. He had to have a bit of a breakout from the game coming back. But as I say, I'm sure if he wants another management job, he'll get it, because as I say, he's very much respected in the game. And of course, with the revolving doors that you get across the Championship, I'm sure there will be other opportunities coming up in the summer. But here come Cardiff now down the left-hand side, the ball coming in. It's whipped in. It has gone out for a corner. It was a cross coming in from O'Dowda on the left-hand side. So the first set piece of the game.
I think he'd make a great assistant, Tony Mowbray. If you've got somebody who sort of had the same values, really, players being comfortable on the ball, playing a bit of football, and take the pressure off him.
Oh, potentially like a sort of mental coach where he's perhaps slightly older than his manager, giving some sort of advice.
I mean, both these two fellas now, not that Morrison's going to get it, you know what I mean? That's counterintuitive, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, here comes the corner kick, though, from the left-hand side. It's whipped in, but it's the big frame of Carl Bartley that gets underneath that, heads it away towards the edge of the area, and a chance in now for West Brom to go on the counter. That's a good challenge, though. They've won themselves a free kick. I was going to say it was a good challenge there as Cardiff were trying to win the ball back, but it looks like Fellows was fouled, according to our referee.
Yeah, he just got caught late there. A good first touch from Tom Fellows. I'm reliably informed he'll be playing his football in the Premier League next season. I think he may be done and dusted at Wolves, so I believe. But anyway, he's got a different agenda. Just a young fellow. He's got good skill. He's got good touch on the ball. Whether all that adds up to quite enough to be a wow in the Premier League, I doubt, but I think that's where he's heading.
Yeah, as I say, it's always exciting to see Championship players that's on the radar of Premier League teams. It's that balance, isn't it, of trying to sign an unproven player from abroad or a player that you have seen playing in the English League, whether or not he can make that step up into the Premier League. But goal kick now to Cardiff. It was a long ball played down the right-hand side, but just a little bit too long for Adam Armstrong in the end. He's another player, of course, that sort of flirted with the Premier League quite a few times, Adam Armstrong, but it seems like the Championship really is his level.
Yeah, so it would seem. Or you want to be lucky enough to get in a better team. You know, you end up being in that bottom half team, and you're getting sort of half a chance a game. You know, you don't score, then you get dropped. Oh, he's not scoring goals. You're chasing your tail in teams like that. Unfortunately, he's not quite good enough to get in the better teams, is he? Even though he's got good pace. But then he gets, back down to the Championship, and he should be a standing dish. And it is that extra pace that he's got, plus a bit of nous, that should make him, really good at this level.
Yeah, we'll wait and see whether or not. So we're just going to break off from that, though, because there is a free kick to Cardiff. It's just inside the West Brom half. There was a bit of a shove down from Bartley on Salek, and Salek was a bit protesting a bit too much. The referee just wanted to bring his attention to that, but the ball comes into the penalty area, and perhaps just a little bit of miscommunication there between the goalkeeper Josh Griffiths and Carl Bartley. Because when that ball was headed across, I think it was Chambers that gets his head to it, and Bartley pretty much heads this out for a corner when the goalkeeper's ready to catch it.
He's ready to catch it, but he needed to make himself heard, and clearly he didn't. I like Bartley. I think they just deals with it. Okay, I've heard something, but do you know what? I can deal with it, and I will.
Out-swinging corner here from the right-hand side. It's a bullet header. It's heading for goal, and it's a combination of a great save or a great clearance off the line. It might have been a bit of both there, but it was Chambers. It was his header that had led to the corner being given in the first, but it's a bullet header. It's a really good header, and actually we're going to give the credit there. It looks to me like it might have been number two. It was that Price on the line. It was Isaac Price. Great work there.
Yeah, brilliant from him, because keeper was beaten there. You know, it's a thumping header that, and Isaac Price has saved his team a goal right there.
He has, yeah. The second corner for Cardiff was taken short. It was whipped in, it was cleared out, and it's now out for a throw to Cardiff on the right-hand side. It's Turnbull waiting to take it. He's got a couple of options here whether he wants to take a long throw or not. And it's just a short ball here. Goes back towards Ung on the right-hand side. Here is Turnbull again, finding a space for the cross. Goes back to Robertson. Again, no options to get a ball in. There's only Salek in the box anyway, even if they had managed to get a cross in. It's back towards the halfway line before it's sent diagonally back over towards the right. Good touch here as well from Ashford. Tries to get the ball in towards the penalty area. It's eventually out for a corner. But I'd say that Aaron Ramsey would be quite pleased after the first 10 minutes. It's certainly his side throwing the first punches in this one.
Well, yeah, they look like the home team, don't they? They're doing all right. Isaac Price clearing one off the line. You know, it's weird because we're sort of arguing the case for Tony Mowbray. But last time I saw Albion, they've got Isaac Price. For me, playing out of position as a sort of wing back, that's not him. He hasn't really got too many defensive bones in his body. Albeit he just plays off the line, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, but weirdly, he's not a full-back kind of thing.
No. On paper, we've got him down as being one of the midfield three today, which I think is probably where he prefers to be. But West Brom just in danger of getting bogged down at the edge of their own box. Darnell Furlong gets it on the right-hand side. He sends a long ball over the top. There's one for Fellows to chase, but it's going to be headed away here by Chambers. And him and O'Dowda just get a couple of headers back towards him. It's a ball played back towards the keeper, which Horvath can't pick up, but he gets enough time to clear that one long. Just to say, we've got our first goal in the Championship in the 3 o'clock kickoff this afternoon, and it's come at Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday have taken the lead against Portsmouth. We'll confirm the goal scorer in just a moment. It's goalless everywhere, including the 4 Premier League games that are on our service this afternoon. And just to remind you as well, there's no late Premier League game, of course, this evening because it's the FA Cup as Crystal Palace take on Aston Villa, and that will be at 5:15 on our service as well. But back here at the Cardiff City Stadium, it is the home side seeing the majority of the ball. It's a strong challenge there in midfield, but Cardiff still keep possession. It's Ung playing it up towards Salek. Salek tries to play that ball in towards Ashford. It just gets away from him though. And it's now Bartley back in possession here for West Bromwich Albion. Just a short ball in towards Mowat, played back towards the edge of the area. And Griffiths should have enough time as Salek was closing him down. Certainly plenty of energy here from Cardiff early on, but from West Brom's point of view, they must have expected the Cardiff were going to come out the traps. I suppose from their point of view is take the sting out, look for a counter-attack, and now it suddenly opens up here just as I say that. Really does open up here for Price. He gets all the way to the edge, he goes for goal, and he forces a save out of Horvath as well. Well, John mentioned that Price perhaps isn't suited to being a right back, and he's just shown us why, because he picks the ball up in midfield and like a true midfielder goes on the run and takes a decent shot as well. Yeah,
if only he could have got that ball just to dip in front of the keeper.
I think he was trying it, wasn't he? Just lifted it a bit too much.
Yeah. So it's an easier high, not an easy save for Horvath at all. I like Price, and I get to do Northern Ireland quite a lot, and and he's a regular starter, and you see his quality regularly. You know, he's a good player, and that wasn't too bad, too shabby. They've got a corner kick.
They have. It's going to be an in-swinger here from the right-hand side. Be whipped in here, left-footed, plenty to aim for here as that ball is elevated all the way towards the back post, and Bartley heads that down. I think he was trying to appeal for a handball there. The referee, by the way, Andrew Kitchen's not interested in that. It goes out for a throw to West Brom after all of that. But I mean, initially that corner seemed like it was way overhit, but then on the other hand, I suppose from where Bartley was positioned, it's almost like he was expecting that ball to loop round as much.
Yeah, almost. It looked like it was going out. Bartley, he's a good player, isn't he? I've always been a big fan. I was surprised really that he did sort of been in this division for that long that somebody didn't just go pick him up, take him into the Premier League. Because I think he's good enough still. Something like Spurs, while they've had all their problems, just think, no brainer, go grab him. But anyway,
I think there's a bit of a question mark, maybe quite injury prone. He's had a few long-term injuries in his career as well. But certainly he has all the sort of experience. He's a big, stocky defender and is good on the ball as well, Carl Bartley.
He reminds me of Craig Dawson in that you know exactly what you're getting. He's been there, done it, and he's always steady away. For me, he's always like 6.5 plus. Yeah,
and he's a loud voice, which actually these days in football there aren't that many sort of loud voices in the dressing room anymore, whereas Bartley certainly would be one of those leaders as Cardiff picked the ball off West Brom here as they were in possession of midfield, and suddenly it's a counter-attack here for the home side. It's played down the left-hand side for O'Dowda. Holds it up. He needs a bit of support, though. He's got plenty inside the box if he can try and get a ball into the penalty area. Does fire one, and it takes a bit of a deflection, and Griffiths, I think, just about gets down to it to avoid giving away a corner.
Yeah, just got there. I thought the ball was going to roll out. It's Chris Willock, I think, in the end, who got that ball in. Took a big deflection. They got lucky that there's not a corner kick there. Yeah, it's been an encouraging start, really, if you're a Cardiff fan, but you're worried at 0-0.
You are worried, particularly worried because Preston have just gone 1-0 down at home to Plymouth, so the live table actually now has Cardiff City in last place in the league.
Crumbs. Plymouth have got Leeds the last game. Now Leeds will either batter them or
they'll be hungover, won't they?
Celebrating.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's at home park, isn't it? It's at Plymouth's ground as well, so that potentially just makes it. By the way, it was Patterson, but given Sheffield Wednesday the lead against Portsmouth. And it's Bundu with the goal for Plymouth away to Preston.
I mean, what an incredible season for Plymouth. not really given much of a chance. The thing is, the Championship this year has been that tight. We've seen so many draws, but also I didn't think there was a truly terrible team in the division.
No, even when it seemed at one point this season like there were a couple of teams that were going to be cut adrift, they've suddenly started picking up points. Other teams have started to fall away a little bit. It's been another fascinating season, and although most of the sort of promotion situation, certainly the two automatic places have been sorted out, and the playoff, there's still a bit of question mark over the sixth position, but I'll break off from that because here come West Bromwich Albion now down the right hand side in towards the penalty. It's a lovely ball in, it's a really crucial challenge, and then a strike coming in from Diakite, which is just charged down. West Brom are able to recycle it here down the left hand side. It's held up here by Styles across towards Fellows on the right-hand side. A ball into Armstrong, who holds it up. There's a shot coming in, which is charged down. It was an effort here from Furlong, and in the end, the ball is played away and out for a throw to Cardiff City down the left-hand side. But after that bright start from Cardiff, it's now West Brom are starting to turn the screw a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. You look at the form table, though, for West Brom, and it's sad and sorry reading, isn't it? So once you get that habit of losing, your interim manager, your proper manager goes and all that, you can sometimes feel a bit sorry for yourself, and sometimes that losing is a hard habit to break.
No, it certainly is. We're just getting shots at that live table now. It's Derby, Plymouth and Cardiff City that make up the bottom three as things stand today. Of course, Hull against Derby is still goalless. We'll let you know if anything happens in that one. But back here at the Cardiff City Stadium, 16 and a half minutes gone. It is goalless, and it's the visitors now just seeing a bit more of the ball. So over towards the left-hand side here for Ahern Grant, starting a little bit deeper this time. Just cuts back in on his right, threads a nice ball through the middle, and all of a sudden it opens up here for West Brom just at the edge of the area. It's back with Price now. He uses that overlap on the right from Fellows. Play back towards the edge of the area. Oh, it's just a little bit of clumsy control there. That's a little bit of a let-off there, because if Ahern Grant controls that like he can and just put his foot through it, then he'd have a shot on target from about 10 yards and you'd back him to score.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that ball bobbles off his left foot. That's his standing leg, isn't it? But do you know what? You've got to be able to kill the ball dead. I don't think that's that difficult. And if he does, he probably thumps it into the back of the net.
Yeah, if anything, it's a let-off really for Cardiff that he didn't get that shot away. It's a short corner, and it's taken back towards the edge, and Styles goes for goal. And I tell you what, he's really driven that one towards the bottom corner. It's just edged away at the last moment. I think he has got a nick, either off a defender, or it might have... If I will give credit to Horvath, I think he gets fingertips to it.
Yeah, I think so. Might have been creeping in that. He had to get something on it, he felt. I'm not sure if he did, but anyway, it's a corner. Mort will take it. Last one we weren't too enamoured with, that one up in the air, but let's see.
No, it's right. He really overhit that one. He's gone for another really looping one towards Bartley, but it seems to be intentional. When Bartley heads it on at the at the far post, and it drops at the edge of the area. A strike comes in, and it's wide in the end. The effort coming in there was from Tom Fellows. But I think we can establish now that these long looping corners are meant to be for Kyle Bartley. It was then flicked on at the near post. I think it was by Armstrong before it was eventually put wide.
Yeah, exactly that. Method in the madness. I mean, you look at these corner kicks, you go, he spooned it straight up in the air. But guess what? Both that he spooned up in the air, Alex Mort, have been won by Kyle Bartley at the far post. So, there you go. You just say, put it up in the air, I'll win it. Okay, and he's doing just that.
Yeah, well, Cardiff making a bit of a mess here, actually. It was their goal kick after that effort had gone wide, and now as they're playing out from the back, they give away a free kick. Furlong was brought down to the ground, so now West Brom have possession back inside the Cardiff City half. It's played in towards Grant. That's a good challenge, though, from Robertson to take the ball off him, and Cardiff now with a chance to go forward. It's played back towards Ashford. He can't quite control it, though, and it is West Bromwich Albion now have the ball back on the halfway line here with Tilborn Hegum over towards the left-hand side. Bit more space here now for Price back into the middle. Styles playing it back now towards Hegum and Bartley. But West Brom, after it looks like it almost was a sort of plan from the visitors. They took the sting out of the first 10 minutes, almost let sort of Cardiff have a little bit of a run, and now they're starting to do what they're good at, which is hold on to the ball.
Yeah, they're passing the ball like Tony Mowbray's side, aren't they? I don't see any difference really, and maybe it's too soon for James Morris to say, "Oh, do you know what? We'll try this." So I don't think there's any revolution in what we're seeing. Just a little bit of evolution from the Baggies. That's all. But they've come alive, haven't they, after a good start from Cardiff?
Yeah, Cardiff had a decent chance. It was that one cleared off the line by Price, but now Horvath's had to make a really good save to keep Cardiff at 0-0. We can see James Morrison, the interim head coach, as they've labelled him on our TV pictures. Just getting some quick consultation with the other coaches on his bench. And as I say, he's having a quick look across. And say Morrison, I just wonder what his plans are, whether or not he sees himself as long-term manager, whether he wants to be a sort of a coach here at West Brom. It always depends, of course, who the manager's going to be. But now a ball goes over the top, and there's no offside here against Armstrong. He's been forced out wide, but he's got some players coming in. It's a strike coming in. It's off the post, and it's just wide of going across goal. Well, that's a big let-off for Cardiff City. They made another mess of getting rid of the ball inside their own half, and then there was a long ball played over the top towards Armstrong. There was no offside. He tees it up here for Price, and Price going off the post, across the line, and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand him going for goal. He thinks he's got that off the inside of the post. You're dead unlucky, aren't you? Karlan Grant was the other option. Why pass again when you think you're just going to be chipping it into the back of the net? He won't go much closer than that. The ball almost rolled across the line.
It did, absolutely. Yeah, very close there to West Brom taking the lead. Just to say a couple of goals in the Premier League as well. Brighton have taken the lead against West Ham, and it's Yassine Ayari with the goal for Brighton in that game. And Southampton have taken the lead against Fulham, and it's Jack Stevens with the goal for Southampton in that game.
Well, he'd been persona non grata at Southampton for most of the season, hasn't he, Jack Stevens? I don't know what he'd done, but they didn't want to play him, and then, get a new manager in, all's forgiven and forgotten, and they're scoring a goal. They're certainly not worse than that Derby team that went down.
No, absolutely. I can remember that Derby team. I can remember Paul Jewell in charge of that Derby team. He seemed to be planning for the next season from the second game he was in charge. I think he'd already decided that this team had absolutely no chance of staying up. Was that the same Derby team that conceded from the halfway line where Roy Carroll was in goal, and there was some ridiculous goal against Villa? I'm trying to remember. I think there was something like that. But yeah, that was a disastrous season for Derby County, and actually it's another disastrous season for them this season. And an interesting one really, that John Eustace sort of volunteered to leave Blackburn, who were a couple of points out of the playoffs, to join Derby, who were in the bottom three, and of course they're still very much in that relegation fight now. I think maybe it does say a lot about the backroom situation in Blackburn, that Eustace perhaps saw a good opportunity to get out. But Cardiff need an opportunity to get out as well. They've just managed it. It was a foul from Bartley there on Salek. I can see that these two are going to have a little bit of a to-do as the match goes on. Two big stocky players, and Bartley can't quite believe it, but it is a free kick to Cardiff City. Ball now played back in towards their defensive line. It's with Perry Young on the right-hand side. Going back in towards William Fish now. Square to Callum Chambers, as Cardiff City just trying to get a bit more of a feel of the ball. They've been under the cosh the last 10 minutes or so. But as that ball is now played back over towards the right-hand side. Just looking across, no other goals to tell you about in the championships thus far. We are hearing that Newcastle are taking a lead against Ipswich Town.
Oh, have they? We never quite know, do we? And then that one sort of disappeared just as we got there. But it's been a good start to the game so far. West Brom just getting again a feel of the ball. They've done all right in possession the last 10-15 minutes. Cardiff City started pretty well, didn't they? We saw that lovely ball from Keane Ashford early. But they need to get Chris Willock into it. I wonder where the goals are coming from Cardiff City. Yusuf Salek's got his work cut out today. We've already mentioned Kyle Bartley, who is obviously a mainstay there. Anyway, the ball popping about in the middle of the park again. Diakite hardly mentioned. But out to Fellows out on the right-hand side. He's making a little bit of ground, and then O'Dowda gets stuck in. Ball gets stuck between them. It's out for a throw on that far right-hand side. So, yeah, reasonable start to the game. Ooh, Portsmouth look like they've got an equaliser. So
they've impressed me this season, because they look really sort of down and out. And as I say, with their manager John Messino as well, I remember him years ago being a sort of lower league player, and it's quite nice to see him sort of keeping that job and actually getting that Portsmouth team to stay in the championship as well. Yeah,
they're real grafters, but I always think when teams go up Fratton Park, they're surprised about how enveloped you are, how close you are to the fans, and how that can, if that team can get the fans on their side and get something going, it can be really difficult playing there. Blackburn look like they've scored in the game against Watford. in the games that matter. Preston 0, Plymouth 1 is an incredible score. And no goals, Hull and Derby. As again, it's Albion back on the ball. Styles now down the left-hand side, looking for Grant. I think he slightly overhit that one. Perry Younger comes in. He's balled back on the inside to David Turnbull, but we haven't seen Cardiff develop and play as much as we'd like to.
No, they started so brightly, didn't they? But then since that sort of first 10-minute spell, they really haven't been able to keep hold of the ball. It was almost like West Brom have sort of stepped up a little bit, just made it that bit more difficult here for Cardiff to see the ball, and it's paying off.
Well, let's take a look at the stats then. We're about halfway through this first half. Listening to Independent Off-Tube Studio commentary, and it is 0-0 then. So XG so far, Cardiff 0.16, for West Brom 0.52. The Baggies on 65% possession. That's yielded 8 shots with 3 on target. So clearly they're getting slightly the better of it. But anyway, like we said, it was a decent start, and Cardiff looked like the home team. But it's amazing, when you're on one of those runs where things are not going your way, how confidence can drain away. Anyway, we're about 28 minutes in, so it is goalless as again Cardiff trying to play their way out. Long ball this time to Salek, who peeled off into the inside right position, but again he's bought their Styles and Hegem. Combination of the two come across, and he can't find the ball back on the inside. Rinomota was the man I think who was trying to aid and abet, but anyway. Here again, Cardiff forcing it down that right hand side. Again, Cian Ashford on the ball. I hope this game doesn't come too young for the youngster. Youngster, he's 20 years of age, so he's he's not a kid. But and there's terrible from David Turnbull there. He's got the ball in the middle of the park. He just toe ends it straight to the opposition player. Trying to control it. Anyway. Here, the ball through the back with Will Fish, and then out to Perry Younger. And he, a little bit of time on the ball, steps inside Carlan Grant. And then he gets hustled and harried. Rinomota goes back to his keeper. It was a great ball to Horvath. He stabs it toward the halfway line. You can tell there's a massive lack of confidence in what Cardiff are doing today.
There is. They don't fancy it in midfield, do they? That's always a problem, I think, when you've got a team at home that it's not like Cardiff don't want to play, but they don't want to have a midfield fight. They want to get it into the channels and try and go on the attack. And as soon as West Brom are turning into a bit more of a midfield battle, you can see that Cardiff don't like it. They're a little bit stuck as to what to do, as you said, from their goal kicks. Do they play it short and then put themselves under pressure, or kick it long and then get into that midfield battle straight away? They're a little bit stuck at the moment.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, Younger takes a throw, Rinomota picks it up. An okay first touch. The ball goes back to Chambers, and then O'Dowda deep in his own half, though. Maybe that's it. They're very tentative going forward. We talk about transition for teams. I always think sometimes it can seem like mumbo jumbo. But what you're detecting here is that the defenders don't want to creep forward. It's like, well, we'll be defending in a minute with Cardiff. We don't go forward kind of thing. So it's very tentative. And then they're trying to thread the Ivan needle, which they just did there. It's not total football, it's totally the reverse of total football.
Yeah, it's tentative football, isn't it? It's what it is. And it was a good attempt there to try and thread that ball through, as you said, but Diakite gets himself in the way, and then it was Price that drew the foul. So that just takes the sting out of any Cardiff attack. Is West Brom now with a free kick deep inside their own half. And West Brom are looking comfortable here. They're almost like allowing Cardiff to have a little bit of that possession, but as soon as they get anywhere near their penalty area, particularly when it's through midfield, it's quite straightforward, really, for West Brom to win the ball back.
It is, and here come Albion down the left-hand side. A little step in by Styles. Eventually runs into one too many. Should have used the ball sooner. And he had the ball taken off him there. And now an opportunity down the right-hand side. Little flick ball from Robertson. Haven't seen much of him. Cian Ashford, lovely switch inside. Flicks the ball out with his feet here for his striker. Salek able to take a turn. Robertson to the far post. Ball comes in. And then the ball eventually ends up in the air, picked off by Griffiths. It wasn't the worst you're going to see that, but even that lacked a little bit of conviction. Ball in, pretty much percentage ball. Kyle Bartley got hurt after that.
Yeah, him and Salek again. I mean, he was... I don't think Salek did anything wrong there, but again, it's just another collision there with Bartley. But here come West Brom.
Yep, they do with Styles again, and then into midfield. Not seeing too much of Moa taking the corner kicks, and he sort of minds the shop as well as the ball goes backwards for Hogan. Again, stabs it into the middle for Diakite, and eventually he's closed down. There's not a lot of pressure on the ball from Cardiff, I've got to say, and they're doing it in ones. Oxford have scored against Sunderland. That's a big goal again.
Yeah, it is. It's Ben Nelson with the goal for Oxford in that one. So as things stand, they're now pushing away from relegation. I think a win for them would mathematically seal it, but here come West Brom now.
Yeah, just the edge of the area then. Chance of a strike, and that one's been driven wide. Not quite sure who that was, but anyway, Carlan Grant pops up now. And so we guess it's him. Yeah, I mean, he created space for his right foot drive, but it was well wide.
It was in the end. The keeper just sort of scrambling across their whole back, but he could see there was no issue with that. Yeah, just to say that the live table now with Oxford taking the lead, that puts them on 52, so they'll be well away from relegation by the end of today if things stay as they are. Hull City currently drawing with Derby, so that puts them in 19th, just below Stoke. Then it's Preston in 20th place. Preston could still get dragged into relegation if Derby start picking up some points either today or in their last game. And then, of course, it's Plymouth and Cardiff making up the bottom two. So there's still a lot to be decided with these. With just over half a game to go today and next week as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So it ain't all over just yet.
Salek, he's one of these players. He's a striker that likes the opposition to know that he's there. And again, he's just getting a little bit too physical. I think it might just be a little bit of frustration because really Cardiff's number 9 hasn't really had any service at all today.
No, he's not. He's got to go make his own fun kind of thing, doesn't he? Put himself about and see what he can get. But yeah, Albion just getting a little bit more involved now. 32 minutes on the clock, and although it's a marginal call, I would say that the Baggies look the better team and the more likely to go on and win the game. Here, Carlan Grant, a good little in and out movement from him. Good ball through the middle, and they can develop play with Fellows. Down the right hand side, he's going to cut onto a left foot finish. No, he doesn't. Lays it back. Shot comes in, or is it across from Price? Either which way, it's blocked away. Wasn't too clever. And then the ball picked up by Turnbull. Then to O'Dowda. He goes on a run successfully over the halfway line. He's still going. Callum O'Dowda now at the edge of the box. They come to greet him, Hegem. But he gets the byline, puts the cut back in there. And it's very comfortably dealt with by Diakite. Diffused that bomb. And then a couple of fouls later from Cardiff, and I think the referee might have his notebook out here. But he's at Salak, and I think there's one foul in and amongst all that didn't need to be made, and that's Salak's. He thought that there's already been a free kick, so he fouled his man, and then he got carded for it.
He did. I mean, as I say, you want that little bit of needle. I think with certain players need it almost as a bit of extra rocket fuel, as like a little boost to the way they play. But it's so important for those players to understand that they need to keep that in check. And as you say, if you're going to get a booking in a game like this, make it worthwhile. Don't do it for tripping an opposition player when the ball's already lost anyway. And it's just a pointless yellow card now for Salek. And obviously with his little one-on-ones with Bartley's experienced enough to try and provoke him, but here come West Brom now through the middle.
Yeah, too many gaps to run through the ball. He's slightly played behind Armstrong, and he uses all his pace then to make a bad ball good. Mateus Cunha scores for Wolves. Just love him. I'd love him to stay at Wolves. Wolves are one of those teams. If you look at the back end of the season and the results that they're posting now, with all their Brazilians bedding in, including their manager, you know, João Gomes wanted to stay because they've got a good going on there and they're enjoying it. I think they're one of those that I doubt they'd spring a Leicester City sort of surprise, but I think they could do something next season.
Well, as I say, it's nobody expected Nottingham Forest to be fighting for top 4 and getting to the FA Cup semi-final. I think quite a few people had Forest down as being sort of decent relegation candidates this season. So why not Wolves doing something similar like that next season as Cardiff win themselves a free kick just at the edge of their own box. It was Grant being just a little bit too physical there with Perry Young. But with 11 minutes to go before half-time, it's still a very open game here, but not too many chances.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake, and you can see that. For Cardiff, they need to be bolder though, because they're going to go down. In the last 2 seasons I've watched them in the Championship, at a given point, I thought they're going to go down. This season, I've looked at them. I thought I'm not going to have those same thoughts this season. I'm going to let them be. But now, the way things are, it looks like they might go down. They've got a big squad, but it's not full of quality, I'm afraid.
It's absolutely right. Big squad, big stadium as well. I'm old enough to have been an away fan at the old Ninian Park, and I tell you what, that's probably one of the scariest experiences I had as a football fan growing up. But all that aside, I mean, the ambition is here. That obviously it's a city and a principality that absolutely loves its football. But as I say, the stats say it all themselves in this game. Cardiff have had 3 shots, 1 of them on target. West Brom have had 10 efforts already. Only 2 of them have been on target, but it's 66% possession to the visitors, and that's a problem, I think, for Cardiff, just not seeing enough of the ball.
Yep. Contested ball, middle of the park. There's a little foul there, and in the end, Cardiff win the day there. I think Chris Willock just needs to get involved a little bit more for me. I'm thinking where the goal's going to come from, and I see Willock as a midfield springer, a bit like his brother, but maybe he doesn't quite have the same goal-getting ability. Anyway, ball back with Perry Unger. There's too much one-out football for Cardiff. When the player receives the ball, you want in a few options. Up front they seem very static. Maybe now playing down left-hand side with O'Dowd, they'll get the ball in. Can he deliver? Not the worst ball in, but it's easily headed away by Bartley at the near post. Salek can't be everywhere. Anyway, the ball now out to Kean Ashford out the right-hand side. You're going to take his man on, shapes to go out right. Tries to get the cross in. He's got the old double kiss. He has done really well to keep it in. Oh, it's a brilliant move. Great turn from him. Ball back with Perry Unger. Good-looking ball into the box. He's headed away. The header wasn't that difficult really for Diakite. We see a shot from range, and I tell you what, David Turnbull gave me the eyes there. I thought he was going to sweep it into the far post. He had a shot. Not the worst thing I've seen. No,
it's a little bit of ping off the laces, doesn't he? Puts his foot through. It was a decent strike, but that little spin and turn there on the by the corner flag from Cian Ashford, that's probably the highlight of the game so far, isn't it?
Yeah, Cruyff-esque. We'll call that the Ashford when we see it next. But really quick feet, really good. He's backed himself to beat his man. Initially, he couldn't get round Styles, could he? But his next bit of skill was world class. I mean that. Anyway, long ball over the top here. Come Albion again, but the ball is just nodded away, and Tom Fellows can't get there. But that's out for corner kick. I fancy
might just be a throw by the corner. But the thing that's frustrated me there, I thought Will Fuchs had enough time to get on the end of that and nod it back to his keeper. In the end, it was just a sort of nothing header just to get the ball away from the opposition player, which is obviously his first thought, but he maybe had enough time to actually take the sting out of that attack altogether, rather than potentially extending it here. It is going to be a throw to West Brom. It's going to be launched long here by Darnell Furlong.
Yeah, and he got a long throw. Let's see what he's got then. Hurls that ball in, and he gets another chance, being a bit pushing and shoving. Millwall have scored. A funny team again, Millwall, another team. I think there's no reason why they should be in the Championship so long.
Well, they're level on points with sixth place as it stands as well. So they can keep that result going. Then they give themselves half a chance of.
They do well, but I don't understand it. I don't think they're funded that well. They always seem to be selling this and that player off, and it seems like a business model. It's hard to sustain, but they manage. Anyway, we're going to see that long throw again from Darnell Furlong. Winds up. Oh, it's carnage in the box. Two Cardiff players are down. Maybe they banged into each other, but Bartley's in the middle of it. Of course he is. How does the meat in the sandwich manage to injure everybody else?
No, well, as I say, I mean, in the end, Bartley ends up staying on his feet with about 4 different Cardiff players hitting the deck. I'm not entirely sure what Bartley's done wrong there, in all fairness.
Well, he didn't. I tell you what, the first person pushing there was Callum Chambers, and he pushed through his own men over. It was like dominoes falling down then. But Bartley did look guilty when he
did, but now Cardiff look guilty because what they're doing here is making a mess of this, and there's a free kick given now after that challenge there from Rinomota. He's just, again, it's so unnecessary. It's trodden on the heels of opposition player there. I think it was Fellows that he's trodden on, and he's just given West Brom a free kick and a chance to get the ball into the box.
Yeah, silly that. It's like a little niggly foul from 1974. but you don't get away with that, and it's right in front of the referee as well. So you've got to be a bit more clever than that if you're going to do it. Probably have the referee in your eye line to see where he's looking. Anyway, Price now is going to take this free kick. Ball comes in, good looking delivery, good defensive header away, breaks through the box. It'll come back into the far post, and then a header. Well, it's on target. It's on target, but in the end, it was a very comfortable save.
It was Grant with the ball in, I believe, and then I think it was Furlong that got into the box on this occasion. His header was going on target, but really there'd be problems, I think, if Haldaf couldn't make that save. There wasn't too much power on it.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Furlong got. I mean, the ball bounced in front of the keeper as well, but nothing out of hand for Ethan Horvath to do. And so, the ball in the middle of the park, just about for Cardiff, who trying to get a foothold in the game. But like I said, even that when they're playing out is so static. Somehow, the referee spotted an offside. So, I mean, how sloppy is that? Even little bits of play, it looks stilted, and there's a real lack of movement. There's no cohesion in what they're doing. They don't look like a team. They don't look like they know really what system. They've got bodies up the field so they can go long. That's almost a saving grace, Paul.
It is, but I mean, what they really needed to do, Cardiff, was score inside the first 10 minutes when they were on top, because since then it's been very difficult for them to get any kind of attacking possession. And whatever they're doing, it seems like West Brom are sort of clued up to it. They're prepared for it. They're able to pick off any long balls. And right now it is the Baggies that are looking very comfortable on the balls. They play out from the back again.
Yeah, they do. Styles again back on the ball. He cuts inside, and eventually Ashford lays a glove on him. But the ball's gone, and Albion still have it. There's a little slip then as the ball out to the left-hand side. Styles forgot to control it under pressure, and he knows he should have done a little bit better there. 42 minutes gone. Cardiff 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. It's not an easy watch necessarily, but I think this game was always going to be more about the drama of it. And for Cardiff, they can't lock their own potential really. They're playing one-out football. It might work, but at the minute it looks unlikely to. However, they've got a little attack now, the left-hand side. Callum O'Dowda running into space. He breaks the byline, and then the ball's deflected out. That will be a corner kick at least. He had a loaded box there. He had a chance to deliver, but he didn't go for it. Should he have?
No, well, there was that little window where he could have just tried to get that ball a bit sooner. He wants to get a bit more of an angle by getting to the byline, but he's being closed down. Just about manages to lift it, but there was always a defender covering. That's good work as well from Tom Fellows, but at least Cardiff do get the consolation of a corner kick.
Yeah, Tom Fellows did really well to keep him honest there, but now they've got a corner kick. David Turnbull to take it, going to be right-footed in Ducker. In comes the ball, bounces through the box. Now, I can't say that's a bad corner kick at all. There must have been a scraped Albion head off that, because then it just made sure it didn't go out for another corner. Unger, though, takes the throw, finds the Rinamoto. He gets a shove in the back, and it's pretty clear. So, it's a free kick. Stupid foul from Moat. An opportunity then for the Bluebirds.
Here's an opportunity they can finally try and do something here, Cardiff. It's been a long while since they've had any kind of attacking opportunity, really. And set piece now over on the right-hand side gives Turnbull a chance to get a good ball into the box.
Yeah, if he can. It's going to be from the right side, right-footed ball in, and chance for his big defenders and striker to attack the ball. Turnbull takes a look. O'Dowda's the other option for an in-swinger. I think that'll take it too close to the keeper. So Turnbull's the favourite for this, unless it's a shot or something from O'Dowda, which I doubt. Anyway, we'll wait and see. So, we're all waiting still. Referee's waiting. Turnbull's waiting. What are we waiting for? Anyway, here we go. Turnbull puts a good-looking ball in. There's a decent defensive header away. Hegem is a big statuesque man, and he got there first, and it was all a waste of time.
Yeah, all that build-up, and in the end it was just a simple ball which was easily cleared. Cardiff not using that good opportunity they had to put some pressure on the defence, but now they've won themselves a free kick in a decent position. It was just a long ball up in the air. I think that the argument here from Carlan Grant is, well, I didn't know anything about it if I was just trying to control the ball, but I mean, I suppose he has got some argument in what he's saying there.
Yeah, he's on the ball, but then he turns into somebody. You've got to show a bit more awareness than that, I think. So that one fell on stony ground. Our referee Andrew Kitchen deciding that was a foul. Kind of with him there. Anyway, again for Cardiff, can they do something, anything with this? I think maybe it's a better option for Turnbull from the other side. Get the ball ducking in, but he's a bit narrower this time as well. He hasn't got the angle, so between him and O'Dowda, what they're going to do this time, Turnbull floats the ball to the far post. Oh, it's a great header, and the ball's in the back of the net from is it Alex Robertson? I think it is. It's the flag gone up. Oh dear me. Well,
it's Chambers, I think, who gets his head to it, but we'll see here, John, whether or not it's an offside. As I say, it doesn't matter if it is or it isn't. The flag's gone up, so the decision will stand now. Of course, we're on a heavy diet of VAR games these days, but there's no VAR here, so the decision has been and gone, and the goal will not stand, but we'll wait to see a replay once there's another break in play.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to judge, isn't it, because Turnbull puts what looks a decent ball in fact, a great ball, and then it's just gone nod it in. I'm just then looking for the numbers. But I was never thinking from the angle we got, because we saw the ball play and then the ball come. It's very difficult to judge. We'll break off again because there's a bit of defending for Bartley to do. He will shepherd the ball out. We're into 2 minutes of added time. So let's take a look again and we'll see, Paul. What do you think, Paul?
Well, he starts off offside. Oh, it's hard.
He's never on. I don't think he's ever on.
I don't think he ever gets back onside. I mean, the replay we saw wasn't ideal because it was a rolling replay. It didn't have that sort of freeze frame at the moment that the ball was struck from the free kick. But, as you said, he starts off offside, and it's difficult to say that he ever got fully level then, I think.
No, I don't think he did. I think he made an attempt, but I think Hogan is marking him and he's just aware that he wants to be half a yard off him, and he is. Unfortunately, he's offside. I think it's a great shout by the assistant referee. I don't think that call is that easy. Another ball into the box, defensive header away. Ball spooned up then from Furlong. And Cardiff for one last hurrah before the half shot comes in, and that's blocked away by Furlong. This time they're a little bit better. O'Dowda, can he get the ball in now? No, he can't. He hasn't got the angle for that, and he probably just should have laid that ball back. Referee's seen enough. We're at the break at 0-0.